Well, good morning. Yes, it's 4 o'clock, that's AM, and here I sit recording another video. I've been awake since approximately 2 AM, tried for an hour to get to sleep, and then I finally came to the computer about 3 o'clock and went through some updates, some other things on the computer, checked some emails, and here I am doing another video. And the title of this video is Thank God an Honest Attorney Has Helped. The blurb goes like this. How the crooked lawyers attempt to steal my home will backfire has been on my mind a lot lately. It's all about temporarily secret documents that I discovered when I went to an honest judge and learned that another judge had interfered privately, getting a ruling before the case was turned back to the judge that had handled other matters in the case. The entire thing is a scam. And by God's good graces and the help of a well-to-do friend introduced to me by the ambassador, we will level the playing field and win this battle. Yes, indeed, the legal issues have played a huge role on my mind and in my life lately because it just steals my peace, it steals my sleep. Not to mention, of course, some of the medical issues that I'm having to face as well. But underlying the whole thing are the legal issues of the attempt of this primarily crooked attorney who appeared in the court hearing yesterday. Of course, it was not live. It was on recording, or what do you call it? It was on a telephone connection. But she appeared herself instead of sending the guy that had been appearing in person locally. She appeared herself and spoke on behalf of her case. But her case is based on lies. And for those of you that don't remember, I'm remembering lots of stuff now. Lots of stuff. First of all, the original lawsuit was launched by the wife of a banker who had served Dr. Mary for many years. He was not involved with her in her church or spiritually in any way, but because they had worked closely together, he had gained her trust, and yet through the attempts of his wife, ended up scamming Dr. Mary for a short time until she realized what was happening, and she asked for help and went and got a real lawyer who actually helped her set up a trust. And the trust, of course, she was putting things back where she had intended for a long time. I was this son she never had. She often referred to me that way. And for a number of years until her death, I had lived in her garage apartment, which was a separate building from her house. And we went to church together and did other things together. We were friends, and we used to go out, and she loved ice cream. We used to go out to the soft ice cream place and get ice cream together, etc. We had a nice relationship, and I don't mean that in a romantic way at all. I mean that as like a mother and a son. In any case, she wanted me to have her house, and that's how the will was drawn up. And when we were creating the will, when she was working to put down what she wanted, she gave me the house, and the rest of the proceeds were to be divided between me, the Shriners, and 3 other people, 2 receiving $20,000 and 1 $10,000. That's how the trust was set up. But the banker's wife, early on in the whole thing, after Dr. Mary had died, filed a lawsuit against me. And that lawsuit dragged on and on and on for many years. or 7 years or whatever it was, maybe even 7 or 8 years. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to go back and look at dates. But in any case, it finally was drawn to a conclusion, and I had turned over to a real estate agent, I believe. I allowed him to have power of attorney to dispose of the property on Merritt Island where Dr. Mary had lived for many years, and where I also lived in the garage apartment that I mentioned earlier. Power of attorney was a limited power of attorney. It was for that case only. Well, some months later, after that whole case was over, PNC Bank, through their attorney, I assume, filed papers making a claim on the house. Not the house that Dr. Mary had lived in, but my home. And I didn't think anything of it because I knew Dr. Mary had left me the home, and I knew that the agreement had been made in the other lawsuit, and I figured that that would hold sway, that my home was not to be violated. That they could do anything they wanted with additional proceeds from the sale of the Merritt Island property. But my home in which I lived and now live with my daughter and her husband and 3 grandchildren, that home was to be not violated. Now, obviously, with the lawsuit, they're trying to steal the home out from under us and make 6 people homeless, including 3 juveniles. They don't care because this lawyer is unscrupulous, as many lawyers are, but there are good lawyers too. There are honest lawyers too. And I didn't discover until I went back to the original lawyer and was informed that a judgment had been made and the lawsuit, or the property, was now owned by PNC Bank. I knew they had made a claim on it, but I didn't know it had been given as a court order, and so I didn't even think anything of it. But when I saw it, I went through the roof, and they showed me the paperwork for the first time after it had already been filed, after a judgment, so-called, had already been issued, not by the judge that had been handling the matter, but by another judge that I never dealt with or never met personally. And they had private hearings to set the whole thing up, because if they had had public hearings in which I was involved, I would have gone through the roof with them trying to steal my home. After all, that was the condition that I gave them power of attorney to begin with, that they leave my home unviolated and untouched. My home was not part of the negotiation. They could have anything else. They could have sold the home for $600,000, $700,000. It was on the market for $1 million in 2005, which was probably an inflated price, but it was still located on prime real estate on the southern end of Merritt Island, and was valued far in excess of the $275,000 for which they finally sold it, which I believe will ultimately prove also to be a scam. Somebody that was a friend of the judge was able to buy the house for way under market value, and the property was what was of value, not the buildings that were on the property. They were torn down and another building put up. But in any case, I think the thing is all starting to come to a head now. There's going to be things revealed, and I have through the ambassador, I have a well-to-do friend who is helping me providing me with an attorney. The attorney lives too far away from me, so he's working to get me a local attorney, and we have 10 days plus whatever time it takes for the notice to get to me to respond. So this has to be done fairly quickly, and we need to open another case. I don't know exactly how the lawyer will advise me in the matter, but I believe that I will have an honest attorney that will try to do justice and try to see that justice is done. And of course, justice being done, I get to keep my home. PNC Bank shuts up for once and for all and stops laying claim, although they never lay claim to the property. When I tried to get them to affirm, they even hired the lawyer, they wouldn't even make that affirmation. So I honestly believe it's the lawyer that's pulling the thing in the name of PNC Bank. PNC Bank will not say, yes, we hired this lawyer. They will not affirm that. So there's a whole lot of shenanigans that have been going on for a long time in this matter, at least the last 3 years approximately, might be 2.5. But in any case, this whole thing has been an extreme headache for me, as you might imagine, to know that these people are trying to steal that which they have no business even making a claim on. That was resolved in the previous lawsuit, and my home was left to be and meant to be inviolate. There was no power of attorney granted to get rid of my home. That's all fraudulent, and that's what I hope comes out with the honest attorney's help, and whatever we need to file in this matter to rectify a very touchy situation and clean up the whole act of this unscrupulous team of people that are going about to take that which is theirs, not theirs, and they have no rights lawfully, legally, whatever, to the house in which I live. This house is my home. It's never been mortgaged, and it's never been given away to anybody, or any claim to it has never been given away by me personally. I've not been involved in any action that turned this home over to PNC Bank so that they could lay ownership claims to it as well as me. And by the way, my ownership claims seem to have disappeared from the public record. How convenient. That's something else that I want the attorney to delve into when I get to actually meet and talk to the local person who lives in my area. That's all I'm going to record for now, and it's actually a little bit longer video than what I've been doing mostly lately. But I wanted to clarify this for you because there's been an individual, at least, maybe more, who keep claiming that PNC Bank has a legitimate claim to my house, to my home. No, they don't. They never did. That is all fraud. It's a scam pulled out by this legal team, and with the help of the lawyer and God's good graces, we will correct the situation and improve the whole quality of my life by not having the continual stress placed on of knowing that somebody's trying to evict me and my family of 5 who has been living under my roof for now. This is the 3rd school year. Anyway, thank you for listening, and may God bless.